Hello, everyone, and welcome to LeeLa. I'm Lee Philbrook. The mission of the LeeLa community is really to transform conversations and practices into actions that make a difference. And LeeLa means, in Sanskrit, means divine or creative play. It's going to be an amazing show this evening. So excited about tonight. We're going to kick it off with short backgrounds on us, your hosts, and then I'll do an opening intention. And then we have our special guest, Cindy Rivait. And this evening we're going to actually interview her this evening on life purpose groups. Then, and given we're interviewing, please pop questions in the chat box. We'll try to answer them as we go along. And if not, we'll have questions and answers at the end. And then we'll do a closing intentions followed by our final announcements. So here we go. Over to my co-host, Lisa English. Lisa?
Thanks so much, Lee. Welcome to LeeLa, everyone. So excited to have you all here again tonight. Happy New Year. LeeLa is a place where we hope to inspire you all to live a congruent and intentional life. It's also a place where you can play, have fun, explore, and learn new things. I'm a teacher, an entrepreneur, and a content creator for small businesses, where I help them navigate the digital world, whether that's via Zoom, online marketing platforms, or social media. And with that being said, I'm going to pass it back over to my co-host, Lee Philbrook. Lee?
Thanks, Lisa. Since we're talking about life purpose groups this evening, I thought I'd say that I am absolutely passionate about making meaningful connections and making a difference in people's lives. I believe we have everything that we need within us, and sometimes we get stuck, right? It's how we reframe situations and connect to the resourcefulness within. So I'm a mindset coach. I've developed a unique way of creating deep core changes using neurolinguistic programming, hypnotherapy, and Reiki. And really the work that I do is about letting go of the past, letting go of your limiting beliefs and negative emotions, such that you create a vision for your highest purpose and best life. And now what I'd like to do is start with our opening intention. And this really connects us and holds the space for the evening. So please close your eyes. May divine grace surround us, uphold us, and cherish us all. May it support us and our sacred trust and community. May we be stronger together and our journeys be brighter and higher for having walked side by side. May we be guides for others and ourselves with clarity, tenderness, and light. Feeling gentle in our minds and clear with our words, being strong in our creation, sending peace in all directions of time. With gratitude, we take this moment to arrive and join together. Open your eyes. Welcome to the room. And now over to Lisa to introduce our special guest. Lisa?
Cindy Rivait is a business owner, entrepreneur, and social pioneer guided by love. Cindy and her husband, Mark, built a successful construction company and are currently in the process of selling and transitioning the business to the employees. In 2013, Cindy was inspired to open Integrative Healing Art Studio, which in 2017 has evolved into Morning Blossom Boutique Retreat in Muskoka. It is now my pleasure to welcome our special guest of the evening, Cindy Rivait. Welcome, Cindy. Well, you're muted, Cindy. There you go.
So yeah, thank you for the beautiful introduction, Lisa, and Lee, thank you for inviting me to be on this call. It's always an honor to be able to share with people, to inspire people with the journey that I've had, and with the hopes that other people will know that, I'm just an average person that followed my heart, and the beautiful life that unfolded before me as I chose to follow my heart is where I'm at today. And I'm excited to share that with the hopes that other people will go, maybe this is something for me. And it is for everyone if we follow our hearts. So thank you. Thank you for having me.
Love it. Love it. We're so excited to have you. And you basically touched on our first question that we want to get started off with. So Cindy, tell us a little bit about your background, what led you to your journey in life purpose groups.
Sure. So actually, you shared that, I've been in business, my husband and I, for 30 years, and I was raising at the time two sons. And one day back in 2013, a friend of mine called me up and said, I took this crystal healing course. Can I come over and give you a treatment? And I'm sure, I knew nothing about what she was going to do, but I'm open. And my life changed that day on the couch after a 40-minute crystal treatment. Bernice is her name. And when she showed up at my door, she brought this little case that had these little crystals, round crystals on it. She simply said, lay on the couch and put an eye mask over my eyes. And she proceeded to, place these crystals on me and do some energy work. And after about 30 minutes, or 40 minutes, I got up off the couch and I was blown away by the experience. I had the most profound sense of peace and calm, something I had not experienced in my lifetime. And the thing was that caught my attention was that I was under a lot of stress, like the rest of us, moms, working moms, just being busy on this wheel of, that hamster wheel. And it wasn't until this treatment and I got up and I just, it was so profound. And I didn't know I was under that much stress until it was taken away or it was melted from me. So I just went, wow, where have you been all my life? And I could think of 100 women that could benefit from the experience that I just had. So that day, a spark was lit in me. And I didn't know at the time that that was going to be my life purpose. I didn't know those words, life purpose, deepest heart's desire. I just knew that I needed to know more about this. And I needed more, I just knew more people needed to experience what I experienced. So I started reading books, I started taking courses. And through that time, I was running into other healers that were doing this work, and they were doing it out of their home. And so I knew there was some credibility to it. I wasn't the only one that was having this profound experience. And so fast forward, I took the crystal healing course, I took the Reiki, started doing it out of my home. Testing the waters, and people were getting similar experiences where they just loved how they felt. So that prompted me to open up an area where people could come out of their homes. These practitioners could come out of their homes because right out the gate, this was very woo-woo, Reiki, crystal healing back then. I'm talking 20 years ago. Okay. And so I just thought, we needed a professional environment for these practitioners to come to, so that number one, it would give more credibility to the service they provided, but it would also give the community at large an opportunity to come and experience it, because a lot of people just don't want to go into somebody's home. It's already woo-woo. So being a business owner, I understood that concept. So my husband and I purchased this large commercial building, and I opened up the studio. Now I'll tell you, I was like, well, what is driving me? I couldn't explain what was driving me, because this was a big deal to purchase this building. So I took a risk, but there was this impulse that was pulling me forward that I just couldn't say no to it. And so we opened the building. It was very successful. But when I first opened it, I was very nervous, but I kept getting this mantra in my head, just surrender, trust, and allow kept going over and over in my head. Whenever I felt anxious about, the next step, what am I going to do? Are people going to show up? I just kept getting this message to surrender, trust, and allow. So anyway, it worked out. It was a wonderful success. However, my next vision, my true vision, was to create a space for women to have a soft place to fall. That was really part of the vision when that seed was planted. So the studio went well. My husband found a beautiful property up in Huntsville. That was the perfect retreat home. So we sold the commercial building. My niece took over the name Integrative Healing Art Studio, and we transformed this place up in Huntsville. The other thing is, when I discovered that I was following my heart's desire, my deepest heart's desire, that when you do that, you'll find that people and places and things will be put in front of you, that things that you couldn't dream up, like this property. I didn't dream up this property. I just knew in my heart, I had a vision. I wanted a soft place for women to fall and come together and uplift each other. And this property presented itself. Opportunities presented itself. People presented themselves to me that I was able to network with. So some of the key things that I have found when I started to follow my heart was that, well, it gave me excitement. I was excited, as opposed to going to work every day in the construction industry. That was like, not fun, and it drained me. But I found when I was following my heart, I was alive. It enlivened me. So fast forward to all that has been wonderful. And then what happened while I was realizing these dreams, I have to go back to my notes so I stay on track.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, well,
you got a long story.
Reader's Digest version. But so as these dreams were being realized, and it was wonderful, and I was connecting with great people. That's the other thing. When you follow your heart, you start attracting your tribe, as we call ourselves, our tribe. So I came across an email that was an invitation to participate in a 52-week-long course with Barbara Marx Hubbard. Now, at the time, I really didn't know who Barbara Marx Hubbard was, but again, my heart said, sign up for this course. Well, signing up for this course was another pivotal moment in my life. I am now a passionate crusader of her vision. And while I was on this 52-week intensive with her and other evolutionary thinkers that she would have on the call to interview, that's when the language and the aha started showing up in my life. Barbara started talking about, you have to follow your deepest heart's desire. You have to follow your calling. This is what the conscious evolution, the shift on the planet is happening to us, is we are being called to be in service, to follow our heart, because that's just what's happening on the planet. And she was able to explain it in words, and I was getting like, these aha moments, and I was able to understand now, looking back, what was happening, that I was following this path. And it was my time to follow it. I could have said no to all this, and who knows where I would have went. But the impulse was so strong within my heart, and it was bringing me joy. So I knew I was on this path. At the time, I couldn't put words to it. So I just trust, surrendered, and allowed. And that, So let's see. So I was on that course. So that course was coming to an end in November of 2018. And halfway through the course, Barbara said, I would love to have you people come and gather with me at the Sunrise Ranch in Colorado, and we'll have this big celebration celebrating what she coined Homo Amore Universalis, because what she sensed that we are birthing, this new humanity, is a Homo Amore Universalis. So, which, that's a whole nother talk that we could do. So we all gathered at the ranch for a week to celebrate with her. And there was 80 of us from the call. That was like 400 people that were on the call from around the world. Like, we had people come from Australia, New Zealand, which is incredible too, because it just validates that, this universal,
Mm-hmm.
this one world that we all live in. It doesn't matter if you're in New Zealand or Israel. We're all feeling this call to awaken to our heart, and we're recognizing the unity in all of us, that we are one. We come from one source, and we have one world. Never mind all these cut up countries to start to impart separation, because we're all connected, and we're waking to that. So so then Barbara just lit me on fire. I'm on another purpose, which is the Life Purpose Group, and that was birthed through the call. She said, form groups and start, exploring your life purpose. So that's how I got from running a construction company to opening up the Healing Art Studio to the boutique retreat that I'm enjoying right now, and now my other passion is spreading the word of Barbara's vision, and connecting with people that resonate with her vision as well.
Amazing. And how long have you been involved in the Life Purpose groups then?
Yeah, so we like really, it started on the call where a few of us formed a group. It turned out 3 groups were formed. When we got to the Sunrise Ranch, we met with Barbara and a few key participants and started talking more about how we're gonna, launch this website. So it was actually officially birthed with her at the ranch when we formed the support team, which is myself, Ole, Puria, and Freed, that are part of the support team that built the website.
Wow. And that was in 2018, you said?
Yes.
Okay. So it's been a couple of years then. You're still a part of this group now to this day, right?
Yes, we actually just officially launched in 2019 the website. Like, we did a soft launch with Barbara's the people that follow Barbara, but now we've launched it to the world, and it's very, very, very word of mouth and very low key still.
Yeah, start of something great though. So awesome. That's such an amazing journey, Cindy. And I know you've already kind of talked about this, but what changes have you seen in yourself as a result of being a part of all of this? More so, I guess, the Life Purpose groups, but even your whole journey. What have you seen? What transformations have you seen?
Well, for sure, the biggest transformation I saw was when I started following my heart. Really, that and it wasn't. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. I just knew that I was being pulled, and um, and 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 I knew it was right because things were unfolding with such ease and grace. It wasn't hard. So then, with the Life Purpose Group, that really launched and helped me stand in my beautiful light, as we all are these beautiful lights. But we dim our lights because we come into this world, and the way we were raised, we were taught to be a certain way, wear these certain hats, and kind of mask really who we are. And so my Life Purpose Group, which and I was nervous when we first met. I'm thinking, who are these people? I don't know these people. They're from Australia, New Zealand. Heinz was a guy. The rest were women. I'm thinking, like, who's little Cindy Rivait from Tecumseh? What do I have to offer these people? I was intimidated because a lot of Barbara's following, they're like really smart people. so I was intimidated. Well, it turns out that right out the gate, like our very first meeting, it went so beautifully. And we now were able to reflect back after a couple of calls when we first started our small group together, that we were all nervous. We all were wondering, are people going to like us? Who are these people? Who are we to join? So we kind of all have the same thoughts and trepidations. However, the main key ingredient was that all of us were craving authenticity. We were craving intimacy. We were craving real relationships and really wanting to really explore what is our life purpose. So we came in and we were all prepared to be vulnerable. We were all prepared to be authentic. And because we were sort of on the same wavelength, it just unfolded so beautifully and with such ease and such grace. And we connected so deeply, so quickly. And that to me was the key ingredient, is the sense of that we're all craving to know, to give our gift and to know what it is so we can give it, and to be authentic and to be real and have real relationships. So then that made me stand into my light more. It made me peel off those layers of protection to stand in my light. So when I went out into the world, just into my community, and went out into the grocery store, I just felt supported by a group of beautiful souls to truly be comfortable in my own skin and be me, which allowed my light to shine, which affects other people. If you're shining your light, it helps other people begin to shine theirs.
Big domino effect. Amazing. I know Lee has some questions specifically about the life purpose groups for you now. So over to you, Lee.
Thanks. So Cindy, why life purpose groups? Like, why do you think they're so important now?
Wow. Again, another part of the evolution that I'm now witnessing, but didn't know that's what was unfolding. So there is a spirit of community that has been rising up around the world. We're seeing it now more than ever. And it takes, we can't, part of and again, this book, I'm going to highly recommend it at the end, because this is where I'm really being able to put words to what I've been a witness to, which is, fascinates me that I've been doing it and not knowing what it was that I was doing. And now that I'm aware, I see it happening all over the place. So when you come together in community, because that's by nature, we're wired, our brains are wired for community, but somehow we kind of got away from that. Our generation, like the 40s, 50s, and 60s, people born in that era, we were just taught to, just be out for ourselves, get what we need in life. And that was good back then. We needed to be like that. But now we're recognizing that, we fulfilled all our basic needs. We have shelter, we have food, we have everything we need. And now we're feeling called to go within and be of service. And we can't be of service alone. We have to be in service in community. So that's why I feel the life purpose groups is such a significant part of the shift that's happening on the planet, and is going to be, a big support system for that shift on the planet.
Oh, that's so beautiful. Yeah, I was listening to some of Barbara's works last night, and it's just the time, like she really was, a futurist and saw what was happening, and it's all unfolding at this moment in time. Can you speak to what are the 3 different kinds of sessions in life purpose groups? So can you break down how each works?
Yes. Okay. So I do have that. So when we talk about sessions, so you first, and by the way, of course, we're going to share at the end the website so people can explore, because it's just full of greater detail as to how it works. But number one, the first meeting, the first couple of meetings when you do meet, is to for each person to have 90 minutes. So the life purpose groups, we ask that you, if you feel called, to set aside for certain, at least commit for 3 months, once a week for 90 minutes. And so when you join a group, the first, we have between 5 and 8 we put in a group, minimum 5, maximum 8. Once you find your group, each week will be dedicated to one person to share about their life, what they've done, where they're coming from. So each person will have 90 minutes to kind of share about who they are. And at that time, while the one person is sharing, it gives the people in the group a chance to get to know the person and see where their qualities are, where their gifts might be, and to reflect back to that person. Because a lot of the times, we don't even know our own gifts. We don't see them because they come so natural to us. So in the group, you're reflected back, and people will see, well, you're this, and I see this in you. So it's just a beautiful exchange and reflection. So that's the first step. Then the second step is they start to explore, like, what do you feel might be your purpose? What are you feeling called to do? So we'll take time to let everyone explore what they think. And one person might talk 40 minutes, and then we'll dialogue on that, and it'll just unfold organically. And then once everybody has begins to discover what their potential life purpose is, then that's where the wheel of co-creation comes in. But we'll touch on that in a minute. And then after that, like ongoing, then we kind of share once a week, what's going on in our lives, what's unfolding. And so it's a beautiful support group in a lot of different ways.
That's beautiful. And can you tell us how the matching happens? So if someone is interested in being part of a life purpose group, what they would do as far as going onto the website, and whether you can recommend people's, kind of forming, because my understanding is that on the website, there's actually all the information. Like if someone wanted to go and start their own life purpose group, they could, and create their own group, or they could go on to the website. Can you speak a little bit more to how that all works?
Sure. So if you'd like to be a part of a life purpose group and meet total strangers, which I highly recommend, wonderful connecting with people from around the world, to know that from different cultures and socioeconomic backgrounds and different ethnicities, I can't say that word. It's beautiful to find we all have this common thread, but we also have uniqueness to our lives that become rich when we share with each other. So you would go to the website, and there's an option to type in your name, your email, and then what time zone you're in, what time of day, and what day. So based on your time zone, so say you pick, we're Eastern Standard,
Mm-hmm.
We're Eastern Standard. So I would say, Thursday nights at 8:00 for me is good, and I'm Eastern Standard Time. So then my group got matched up with a person from British Columbia who said, I'm good for 5:00 on Thursday night, which matches my 8:00. And then two in New Zealand, they're good for 11 in the morning. So their 11 in the morning is my 8:00, and the Friday, the next day. And so that's how you get matched up. Give a 2 hour, say 7 to 8 I'm available, or 7 to 9 I'm available. Maybe give like a 2 hour. And so based on that, once Ole, who's the techie guy, you'll get matched up based on your time zone and day and hour that you're committed. Yeah, and then the rest is up to the universe. You'll be divinely guided, and you'll be matched with the right people.
Amazing.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's wonderful, because there's options that if you really feel called and you've got a group of people you want to bring together, you can do that. And you guys also do this matching, which again, I think it's beautiful to connect to people who have completely different perspectives. And like you said, be divinely connected with a whole group of people that know nothing about you. Mm-hmm. And therefore come at it with very new and fresh eyes. Can you speak to, what the structure of the meetings? So you talked about kind of the different stages. Well, because when I was looking at there seems to be roles that people would play on the calls, and how that works.
Yeah. So once you form a group, once a group is formed, so somebody would go on the website to follow the guidelines as to how to facilitate. So out of the group, usually there's always one or two persons that will volunteer to say, I'll be the person that begins the facilitation. And then that person will begin. And then, it'll take a couple of, depending if you have 4, 5, 6, 7 people in your group, it's going to take a few weeks to get through. So the initial, 4 to 6 weeks is really going to be the one person that volunteers to sort of initiate it and be the sort of like the guide to, be the person to facilitate it. So that's pretty much really how it gets launched, is to just everyone just kind of share their life and where they're at and where they're going. And it really is organic, but we do give some structure to it. And the beautiful thing about the website too is that you don't have to be, you have access. It is a free website. You do have access to the guidelines and how to start your group. And it's an opportunity too, if you wanted to start it in your own backyard and you think of a few people that might want to start it, you can send them to the website and say, hey, check it out. If it resonates with you, let me know and we'll form this group. So it's absolutely free and it's absolutely accessible. The only difference, if you do join through our website and connect with people around the world, you do have more access to the back office, because once a month we have monthly calls, and we share all the different people from all the groups come together, and we just share what's going on in our groups in our world. So yeah, that website has so many resources to it, a lot of Barbara's videos as well, and just a lot of great resources and a lot of sharing. It's too much for me to try to give you a picture. So
that's beautiful. I mean, it is going on there are so many resources and different ways that you can actually interact with it. And I was blown away that all of this is being offered for free, like all of the guiding through and how to do it and the learnings, and that you continue to evolve this process is beautiful. And I don't know, you maybe spoke to it, but what kind of what would you say the minimum commitment someone would want to give relative to making a difference in connecting with their life purpose and living their life purpose?
Yeah, definitely a minimum of 3 months. You definitely want to give it a minimum of 3 months. So know that when you make this commitment, that you know that you're going to be there once a week for 90 minutes. I mean, there's always going to be the odd, something arises and you can't make that call, but really for everybody's benefit, yeah, not 3 months. I've been with mine for two years, more than, yeah, it's coming into 2 years. Yeah. And we started out as 8, and just recently in the last month, we just kind of went down to 4, because some of them just kind of outgrew it and went their other way. And there's still our 4 key core group that are still together. And that's just part of the evolution of anything that transpires. So, but definitely give it for sure 3 months.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. I'm going to pass it back over to Lisa, who's going to ask you some more questions.
Awesome. So, Cindy, can you share what some other people's discoveries have been through joining these life purpose groups? I know when we were speaking, the 3 of us before, I think you said someone wrote a book or something like that. So if you can share a few examples for everyone that you've seen with your time over the last couple of years.
Yes. So I can speak to my group. So out of my group, this beautiful soul, Bronwyn Christiano from New Zealand. Okay. Oh, just a beautiful soul. She's in her 70s and very shy, very quiet. And when she was in her 20s, she had a very profound experience with an angel. She had a visit by an angel. And it was so profound. Prior to that though, she fell prior to was the angel first and then she fell. Anyway, she had a near-death experience and an encounter with an angel. And both of those experiences were so profound for her, but at the same time, she couldn't share with anybody because she figured, people would think she was crazy. So it really changed her life to the core. It shook her to the core. And she never really had anybody to share it with. She had to sort of suppress it. And it really affected her physically. She was really physically affected from the fall where she had the near-death experience. She fell while she was hiking, and then the visit by the angel. But so she carried that for 50 years. And when she felt comfortable enough to share her story with us, without being afraid that, we to call up her family and tell her to put her in a psychiatric ward. We told her, you have a story to share. You really need to share this story.
Mhm.
And so when we went to the Sunrise Ranch, she met up with another a participant, Brenda Malloy, who is a fractal artist. And her work's going to be on our website actually in the next week or so. They kind of hooked up, and Bronwyn said, you know, I'm ready to write this book. And Brenda said, I would love to collaborate with you and put my fractal art match with your beautiful story. So Bronwyn wrote the book, published it, and you can get it on Amazon.
Wow.
And it's a beautiful, beautiful book. And I actually have it downstairs. I should have brought it up. It's a beautiful book. It's a coffee table book. It has a beautiful story. I can't recommend. It's called Towards Radiance is the name of the book. Towards Radiance. And then the other story, is Julie. Julie just like ended a long-term relationship and was feeling kind of lost and not knowing where she was going with her life. Yet she had been like a naturopath, got her like naturopathic license. She had been into like herbs and doing Reiki and energy healing, but was kind of, when she met our group, didn't know where she was going in her life. She felt lost. And after about, I don't know how many months she was with us, she decided that she was going to pursue a career in what is it, like naturopathic counseling, holistic counseling. She was going to be a holistic counselor, and it was I think a year or 18-month course. And she was nervous because she was now living on her own, but we gave her the courage to cash in, like over there, like an RSP to pay for this course. And it was just such a beautiful thing to witness her blossom. She was from like at first kind of shy and not knowing what she wanted and wouldn't speak a lot, and her head was always often down. You know, you could just tell somebody when they're dimming their light. And so we slowly got to witness Julie embrace her passion and begin to like look brighter, look cheerier. And so I think she's almost completed her course, and she's doing amazing. And she's still part of my core, Bronwyn and Julie and Hillary. And so, yeah, and that's just a couple. There's more, but these are people that share once a month. So on those monthly group calls when we get together, it's so moving. I look forward to those monthly calls, hearing from others around the world what their group has done for them. Each time we have that monthly call, it just reinforces the need for this group, this life purpose group for the world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Amazing. You said that one woman was 70, in her 70s.
Yeah.
So never too late. Like, how amazing is that? Wonderful. And you kind of just touched on it here. So why is it key to find others who share the same passion? Like you're saying, support, connections, watching each other grow. So maybe speak to that a little bit in terms of what you've seen as well.
Yeah, actually there's, let's see here. I did find something in the book that kind of expresses it better, but I won't be able to find it now. It's just, when you have other people reflecting back to you, we're magnifying, I would say we're magnifying our own light. It's like you take a candle and it has one little light, and then you put another candle to it, and those together brighten. Now keep adding that light to more candles, and it just gets brighter. So there's a sense of magnetism, I guess, that's created when you're with like-minded people. It's hard to articulate, but it's written in the book. Some of the explanations in a couple of books that I highly recommend. If those that are on this call, if this is really resonating with you, I tell you, there's a rich world to describe what's happening when we come together in community, when we come together in groups that I'm not really great at articulating, but the books are really good.
Amazing. Yeah, we'll share those books with everybody on the call as well. We'll put them in the highlights email after. And maybe this will ring a bell. Can you speak to how connecting in the heart resonance happens in life purpose groups? So that's kind of what you're saying about the magnitude right there. So can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, there is, we are energetic beings. We are energetic beings. We're spirit beings in these physical bodies. And, we all resonate at various frequencies. And we're at a time in our life, which, Barbara has spoken about, is that we are moving from our head to our heart. As a collective, we are moving from our head to our heart. And actually, that book that Barbara had wrote called, I think it's called Emergence. I have it over there somewhere. And it's about moving from ego to essence. The book is called From Ego to Essence. And it's about moving from our head to our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's happening on the planet. Our heart are being cracked open. The crisis in the world is creating a birth, a birth. And it's facilitating our individual selves, moving us from our head to our heart so we come together in community. That's, I guess, the best way. I don't know if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And in terms of like changes in the community and globally, like you've seen these individual changes within your group, have you seen anything outside of that bigger picture as a result of the life purpose groups, or even just, I guess, in your group, because it's a global connection?
Yes. Oh my goodness. We are making such amazing connections. And I can't wait. We'll have to do a follow-up call to share what's going on with the Wheel of Co-Creation, which is Barbara's other vision. There are so many organizations right now that I'm learning about through the life purpose groups. There's a group called Charter for Compassion, which is a large organization that I think it's in over 2,000 cities. Anyway, I don't know the statistics, but it's called Charter for Compassion. So that's another huge organization that's connecting, tracking, and mapping. Well, actually, it's mapping, tracking, and connecting what's good and working in the world. This Charter for Compassion. There's another organization called peaceliteracy.org, Peace Literacy Foundation. So now that we're aware of this shift on the planet, this crisis that's going on in our planet right now, to the separation that's being caused, that's actually now creating more, coming together, which is why the spirit of community is rising up. There are so many grassroots organizations that are swelling up in communities around the world. And if it wasn't for the life purpose groups and the people that I'm connected to around the world, I wouldn't know about them, but we're talking about them. We're learning about them on our monthly calls. And MOMS, MOMM, which is Moments of Mass Mindful Meditation. This is another great organization that is another grassroots that's growing strongly around the world. I hope I got it right. MOMS, MOMMS. So Moments of Mass Mindfulness Meditation. Anyway, another organization. So one of the things Barbara talked about was when the significance of forming a life purpose group and finding your deepest heart's desire. The second step is to, when you find your purpose, you go to the Wheel of Co-Creation. Did you want to talk about that now?
Yeah, I can pull it up, and so everyone can have a visual of what you're talking about here. So just give me a second.
Because this is really the keystone behind the life purpose groups, behind finding your purpose. We're all born with a gift. We all come into this world with a gift, but it has in the past gotten suppressed because of our education system, the way it's set up, to not, just guide us to get a job, go to school, get a good job, and make a lot of money. Well,
Yeah.
we're changing. That system's changing. And so when you find your purpose, so maybe you're interested in the arts. So you would find somebody in the arts. You would go to the when this website's done, it's still under construction, but there will be a website where you can go to the Wheel of Co-Creation, and if your interest is in the arts, you would click on the arts and you would find other people around the world that are doing something having to do with the arts, and you would find out what's good and working and connect with them so you can bring it back to your community. Or you're interested in the environment. Well, that's going to be a big one. So you're going to find, you'd go to environment, maybe you'd narrow it down to, I'm interested in the water and saving our water, cleaning our water. So then you would find people in the world that are already doing what's working to help clean up the water, or whatever having to do with water. So you'd reach out to them, and then you would form a group with them to find out what's good and working, and then you'd bring it back to your community. So this is really the most exciting part. Once you find your deepest heart's desire, then you get to connect with others, because this website is going to map, track, and connect what's good and working in the world. And then you can bring it back to your community. And that's where, this becomes really a grassroots movement, because, our government, our old political system of governments and institutions and corporations, we now are being revealed that they tend to be a little more corrupt, and they're only serving the few and not the greater good of the whole of the world. So this is how this is going to change. And we're going to come into a more circular model of creating the world we know is possible, as opposed to this hierarchical, political, dominating, fear driven, political system that we are operating under right now, which worked back in the day, but it's no longer working for us.
Yeah,
that are awake.
So amazing. So much to look forward to. And yeah, you're saying there's a website that's going to come out and connect and do all of this. And Lee, do you have a couple more questions surrounding that for Cindy as well? I think you were going to touch on that.
Unmuting always helps. Yeah, that can you speak a little bit further to that, Cindy? I just love that not only have you launched this website that helps people connect to their life purpose, but that you're also in the process of, I know it's still in development, and you've touched on it, but maybe you can just tell us a little bit more about how this will actually work relative to kind of Barbara's ultimate vision of not only people connecting with their life purpose, but then co-creating with other people. Can you speak to that?
I can. So there's some geniuses, young people that are working on this website in England, and so basically, how can I? It's just so okay. So when you, which I feel like I kind of just touched on when I talked about the Wheel of Co-Creation. So if you find your life purpose, so this website, which is also going to be an app as well. So you would just go to this website and you would look at what your interest is. Like I said, if you're into the science, if you're into like education, well, you would narrow it down more. What your education, what do you want to, educate? You want to work with children, or you want to educate people on, their health, or, teach yoga, whatever that is. So you would go in there and you would, refine and narrow down that area of education that you're interested in. And there would be links to, say, like in London, England, this girl is doing this with her, in her community. So you could reach out to her and say, I'm interested in learning more about what you're doing. And so those two would connect, say, and then whatever she gleans from there, she would bring back to her community. And then within her community, you'll attract those people that resonate with that and bring it back to your community. What else was I going to say about that? I lost my train of thought. Oh, so back to the Charter of Compassion. The conversation I had with Olay today was that Charter of Compassion right now, they sort of have a bit of a model similar, to what we're talking about, this wheel of co-creation, because the Charter of Compassion, I guess they are like an umbrella for what do you call organizations that aren't funded by the government?
Not for profit.
Yeah, so they have a list of not-for-profit initiatives that are happening in different cities around the world. And so one might be to feed the poor in New York City. There is an initiative that's feeding the poor in New York City. There might be another initiative that's bringing books to children in school. So Ole was saying when he went to their website, they kind of have a bit of what we're talking about, the wheel of co-creation. The Charter of Compassion is an umbrella to connect nonprofit organizations that are doing good things in their community with others in other cities to learn from. So the Charter of Compassion is actually going to be kind of like a test pilot for the wheel of co-creation, that they're already doing similar to what the wheel of co-creation is, only it's under the umbrella of the Charter of Compassion. They're focusing on not-for-profit organizations that are already doing good work in communities. So spreading it to other communities. Does that answer your question?
Absolutely. That's so beautiful. It's really exciting to see how this is integrating and making a difference already.
Already. And but this isn't making the news, you see. This is, and if it wasn't for me connecting with people around the world and all of us, we wouldn't know that these good things are going on in the world. The only thing the news wants to promote is the fear dominating control. And that's why we have to quit watching the news or limit it and really find out what's really going on in communities and connecting with people
that are all doing amazing things. Yes, it's mind-blowing what is happening and how we can connect to anyone, anywhere. And what a beautiful resource that you guys are allowing people to really focus in once they get that clarity within themselves and are clear on that. And then, you know, that kind of resonance. And I want to touch on, because I was looking up some of the words in the glossary of Barbara. Barbara has a book called The 52 Codes of, I'm forgetting that. Yes, it's the 52 codes. I can't read that.
Okay, so the 52 codes of self-evolution, a process of metamorphosis to realize our full potential.
And that talks to me, there's what came up was talking about one of the definitions that you and I had talked about before, which was suprasex or vocational arousal. Can you speak to that a little bit, and what happens when people connect this way once they're clear on what it is they want to do?
Yeah. So yeah, it would be so cute to hear her. Like, you know, when we spent the whole weekend, you know, she'd do these talks and she says, you know, like, it's like right now we're having super sex because, you know, you got 80 people. We're all excited about, you know, just coming off of this course and knowing that we're, you know, part of this beautiful co-creation of evolution, moving up the spiral of, you know, towards greater love and greater freedom. So it's like, yeah, when, you know, like when you and I talk, or when you, like anyone here in the audience, when you meet somebody and you have something similar in common that you're passionate about, you get excited, like you get excited. So it's like, yeah, it's like the new super sex, you know, you're having an interaction with another person that brings you joy and excitement. So it's a new level of orgasmic sensation, because you're just so excited to be on the same wavelength as another person. Her definition, it's so beautiful, because, you know, I can't, you know, I always say I'm like her parrot, but I wish I could speak the way she speaks. But just to share, because she says it so beautifully here. Super sex, she says, the passion to express unique creativity stimulated by vocational arousal, comparable to sexuality at the next level. Instead of joining genes to procreate, we join genius to co-create, to give birth to our greater self, and to work and to do our work in the world. And I love that, because, you know, we came here to procreate, but now the world is bursting at the seams. And now we're at an age where we want to co-create, and that's what we're doing. And, even, and when I say it at an age, I don't mean chronological, but, people are having less children, and some people are choosing not to have children at all. And again, that's part of the evolutionary process, the journey that's happening and unfolding on the planet.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. And when you talked about the genius, I read somewhere she talked about the code of genius. Can you speak to that at all? Like, what is the code of genius?
Your genius is your gift. That is your gift. So joining genius, joining your gift with another, to bring it to the world, so when she speaks of your genius, it's your gift, your purpose, your individual. Everyone has an individual gift, individual purpose. And some people, it doesn't have to be like a gigantic, big, influential thing. Everybody has a purpose, and some purposes may not seem as big, but she gives that analogy about a what do you call those, when people make a window out of stained glass?
Mm-hmm.
So you have different pieces of the stained glass, and they all sit separately, but when you put those pieces of the stained glass together, you create this beautiful picture. And that's what each one of us is. We have this unique gift, and when we bring our gifts together and we weave our gifts together, then we create the more beautiful world that we know is possible.
That's so brilliant. That's so brilliant. And there was something else in the glossary that I really loved, and I heard Barbara talk about it last night. And I'd love if you could explain what regenopause is.
Oh, sure.
Think that's, for those of us that are, fabulous women at a certain age of our life.
Yeah, I actually, again, because I don't want to mess it up, I'm going to read it, because I regenopause, a bioevolutionary event as women live longer lives and have fewer children, while the Earth is reaching its population limit. The shift from maximum procreation to co-creation, from self-reproduction to self-evolution, self-expression, and chosen work, leading toward a shift in the life cycle of women. When the postmenopausal woman stops producing eggs, she becomes the fertile field in which to give birth to her own full potential self. While her body may be declining, her spirituality, creativity, and desire to participate is rising, leading toward regeneration and the emergence of the feminine co-creator, the evolutionary woman. And Barbara would always say, I'm not getting older, I'm getting newer. I'm getting newer. And she goes, and even at 88, I'm getting newer. So that, I know, is so beautiful. Our full potential self, we are now giving birth to our full potential self. Because again, we've been suppressed for so long, but again, it was just part of our evolution,
I think that's it's so beautiful at this moment in time, because so many women are finding their voices and stepping into who they are. And I just found that so powerful. When I heard her speak about that, I thought, wow, that is what's happening right now for so many women. And we do it very differently, and we do it in community with each other. And so the way that we will connect will be very different. And that's why I think it's so important that we come together as community, so that we find out what it is we want to do, and then connect with others that want to play in the same sandbox. It's just so beautiful. I have one more kind of glossary question, because I thought it was also so fascinating, and a word that I'd never heard of. Can you, or how do you explain noosphere, the noosphere, and why is it relevant?
Oh boy. Okay. So off the top of my head, I can't think of his name. It's not Teilhard de Chardin, but another evolutionary thinker that saw the noosphere coming. So we have the biosphere, right? We have the biosphere, which, is we grow in the biosphere. The noosphere is the thinking layer of the universe that didn't, I guess it didn't exist, hundreds of years ago, but it was predicted to come into fruition. So the noosphere is the thinking layer of the universe. And so our thoughts, our intentions, our energy, because we are in this, we live in a field. We live in a unified field. And I love a good explanation of this unified field is, if two fish were swimming in an ocean and the one fish says to the other, hey, buddy, we're surrounded by water. And the other fish goes, huh? Water? What's water? Because they're in it. Well, we're in this beautiful unified field. So this noosphere is the thinking layer of the universe. So every thought we think, every action, everything is stored in this noosphere. And it makes sense, because think of how far we've come and terminologies. And well, look at how we're all awakening to our heart. We're all awakening to our heart. That's because it's happening in the noosphere, and we're sensing it. We're sensing it. And people from around the world are sensing the same thing in Canada as they are in, Egypt. So it makes a lot of sense, the noosphere, the way he explained it. And it wasn't Teilhard de Chardin, but another philosopher, a Jesuit priest or something. But anyway, did that answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's beautiful. And we're, I think, feeling it, given we're all disconnected in a certain way and connecting in a very different way, because we're all connecting this way. And yet it seems like I'm thinking about someone and then they call, or something happens, like there's those kinds of synergies seem to be happening more often. Like I think of someone, like literally yesterday I was thinking of someone, and literally, like I was walking and there was my phone, and that person was like, had sent me a message, right? So we're connecting in this different way now as well.
We are.
I know, Cindy, that you had a beautiful quote that you wanted on our soul's purpose that you wanted to share with the group.
Yes. And, my dog is pounding at, I got to let him out because he's got to go. Just one quick second. Just I'll let him out.
I'll put it up in the meantime so everyone can have a little peek.
And while Cindy's letting her dog out, if anyone will be, once she does this, we'll be moving to questions. So if you have questions, you can put them in the chat box and we'll ask Cindy those questions. So
yeah, I thought, okay, so I thought this really, I just let him out. So could you let him in, keep an eye on him? I thought this was really kind of would sum the conversation up about the life purpose groups. And it comes from this beautiful book by Carolyn P. Anderson and Catherine Roski, who worked with Barbara on her campaign when she was running for Vice President of the United States back in 1987. Her platform was to create a peace room that was equivalent to the war room. And the book is called the Co-Creators Handbook 2.0. So shall I go ahead and?
Yeah, please. Yeah, Lisa's put it up on the screen as well.
Our soul's purpose. Our soul's purpose is our innate calling, the code of genius that brings us a sense of wholeness and deep fulfillment when fully expressed. It is the absolute expressing as our unique essence. Our soul's purpose pulses in us with the fierce power that drives the green shoots up through the frozen soil in the spring. We are driven to grow by the force of creation. We have known in the secret depths of our hearts the desire to be more, to fully actualize ourselves. But for most of us, the time has not been right. We have not been called forth fully. The social forms to empower our full creative potential have been missing. Thus, we've often kept ourselves in limited jobs, doing repetitive tasks and struggling to survive. Now, we have entered a new cycle. Evolutionary crises and opportunities are activating large numbers of us to extend our lives beyond the immediate concerns of self-maintenance and reproduction, to the evolution of ourselves and the development of a conscious, sustainable community. We are at the threshold of the greatest release of human creativity the world has ever known.
Wow. Isn't that something?
Oh no, I know, yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, we'll share that with everyone as well in our highlights email. Again, if there are any questions for Cindy at this time, please throw them in the chat box. Cindy, my question for you is, what's next? What's next for you?
I just continuing to be a voice for Barbara, for her mission, for her vision, and continuing to hold space here for women's retreats, and yeah, I think that's, and who knows, I surrender, trust, and allow every day to whatever the universe wants to birth through me. I'm an open vessel, you know, and to be a part of the co-creation of, you know, the divine spirit that's moving through all of us.
We all just got to take your advice and surrender and trust and move forward. So amazing. And one more question for you. Do you know the estimated time on when that website's going to roll out, or that app might roll out?
I know, we had that conversation again today. I said, Puri had asked Olay, and I goes, oh, I'm so glad you asked it, because I feel bad. I'm tired of asking them, but it's such a big task. And I'll tell you right now, there's a meeting that's taking place. So if we could all visualize this meeting happening, well, the meeting is happening, that the invitation that Olay is putting towards this person who's a very, very wealthy billionaire, because they need money to create this big project. And he's having a meeting tomorrow with a potential donor that is going to come up with the money to fund this huge engine, because it is going to be a huge engine. It's going to take a lot of manpower behind the scenes to create it. So they're 3/4 of the way of developing it, and now they're needing to get the resources together to really launch it. So could it be 3 months from now? Could it be 6 months? That's to be determined. But they are making great strides, great strides. And they've been working on it for 2 years now. So we're getting closer, yeah.
Yeah, definitely getting close. So yeah, we'll keep an eye out for that for sure. Amazing. Okay, I think we're ready for our closing intentions. So over to you, Lee.
Just make one last.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
So I just highly recommend, for those that are on this call, or anybody that's going to hear the recording later, for sure, if what I shared with you resonates with you, I can't stress this book enough. It's called Conscious Evolution: Awakening the Power of Our Social Potential. And it's funny, I'm reading it now after the fact, after I've been with Barbara, but this book to me is the blueprint and the guidepost to what's unfolding on the planet towards our evolution up the spiral of love and creativity. It's so brilliant, and it's filled with, you know, other evolutionary thinkers like Teilhard de Chardin and Maslow and all these great thinkers. It's written so beautifully, and I just can't even stress it enough. I think if every person got their hand on this, we would accelerate this quantum leap towards heaven on earth if we read this book and follow it. It's really beautiful. So again, it's called, it's the revised edition. Barbara just revised it 5 years ago. Conscious Evolution: Awakening the Power of Our Social Potential. Great book.
Thank you so much, Cindy. I'm so excited. I've just got all of the books, and I just started reading them, and it's like, you know, when you look at something and you know that this is what's next. So we will definitely share with the email we'll send out to everyone. We'll share all of those resources. I've just put the website in the chat box for anyone wanting to know that right now. We'll also send that out after.
Oh, the lifepurpose.org, is that what you put?
Yep, lifepurposegroup.org is the resource. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. So thank you so much, Cindy, for this evening. What a beautiful way to start 2021, and especially on a day like today. So I will now do our closing intentions. So if everyone can please shut your eyes. As we close our time together, with gratitude to all, we pause to offer each other love and kindness. May our understanding of love be expanded by what we have shared as we open ourselves to growth. May we rest in trust and surrender ourselves and our paths to divine grace, asking that this time together be protected, corrected, and held high. May we now see through love's eyes and understand beyond words. May we all be safe, happy, and healthy. May we all rest in full joy and know there is no distance between friends in time or space. Divine strength and peace surround us until we meet again. Please open your eyes. And now for final announcements, over to Lisa.
Amazing. Thank you again, Cindy, so much for all of the information, all of the wisdom you've shared with us. Hopefully some people check out the life purpose groups, and we'll keep finding our life purposes and growing that. So thank you. Thank you. Just to recap, this evening we explored how you can uncover your own unique life purpose and discover why it's key to find others who share the same passion. Cindy explored why we are seeing the rise in the spirit of community and its importance. And finally, how to recognize the evolutionary impulse that is pulling you forward to join genius with others to experience that power of co-creation in a resonant field. So like Lee mentioned, we're going to be sending out all of the details on how to join the life purpose groups, how to contact Cindy in the next day or two. So just keep an eye out for that. Our next LeeLa event will be Wednesday, February 17th. And that's going to be with award-winning documentary filmmaker, Nomie Weiss. So her film, Connecting the Dots, addresses the youth mental health crises, and the story is actually told by youth. As a humanitarian and a human rights activist, Nomie gives voice to the most vulnerable. And if there's anyone who's living their purpose right now, it's Nomie. She is a true inspiration. So hopefully we'll see some of you then. And until next time, everyone, be well, aloha, and good night. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.